All right, what's up, my brothers? In this video, we're going to be talking about the 3 things that you can never, ever do to women. A lot of guys get this really wrong, and they think that they can't do things like be mean to women. In England, there's a coined phrase, you must be a little bit mean to keep her keen. I'm not going to be talking about any of those things. What I'm going to be giving you is something to really sink your teeth into and to think about. The first thing that you can never do to women that I see a lot of guys make the mistake of doing is that they complain to women. My boss was mean. The traffic sucked. My sister-in-law's brother's cousin looked at me the wrong way. The dog is a whatever. The cat is this. You're da-da-da-da. All of these things that you're complaining about, women don't want to hear about. I'm being absolutely honest with you. None of that stuff that you've heard your entire life about, just open up to her. Just cry on her shoulder. Be more emotional to her. Express your emotions and your feelings to her. There's no woman that wakes up in the morning that thinks to herself, gee, I wish my guy would complain to me more and whinge and whine about his boss, Becky from HR, or that sales call that didn't go his way today. They don't. That's not what they dream of. You can't sit there and complain to women. I've said this many times before. Women don't care about your struggles. They hang out at the finish line and they pick the winners. And that's just the reality of it. Women are just like that. Don't get upset at them. Don't get angry at them. Don't hate them for it. It's a survival strategy that they've adopted through evolution over hundreds and thousands of millions of years. Women can't afford to stay with or select guys that complain and whinge and whine about their lives. They want a guy that can figure it out. They want a guy with a plan. They want a guy that's competent. They want a man that can make it rain. Do you understand? So don't ever, ever complain to women about your problems. So your question now is, okay, Rich, who do I complain to? Well, you should be competent enough to solve that problem for yourself. You should be able to work it out for yourself at some point in your life as you get older. In the absence of that, as a younger guy, you should seek a board of advisors, a directorship. If you understand what I'm saying. You want to run things up the flagpole with your boys, not complain to women about it, not make long, protracted complaints or social media posts about it or anything like that. You want to be able to have some kind of a board of advisors that you can talk to, men that you trust, that are competent, that are resourceful, that know how to make it rain, that know how to solve problems. You can find these guys in many places. They're usually doing interesting and difficult things in their lives because that's where these guys tend to congregate, if I can put it that way. I've talked about that before in other videos. You can search this channel for that on the search bar. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to figure it out. Either figure it out for yourself or have a board of directors or find a competent group of guys that are useful for you to talk to so that you can complain to them and find a solution together if you need be. I've said this many times. There's 2 kinds of people that will enter your life, anchors and sales. You want to invite sales into your life. You want to invite this wind that will fill your sail with wind and take you on to your next passage, if you know what I'm saying, your next port of call. Anchors, you got to cut loose, right? You're always the average of the 5 people that you're going to spend the most time with. You spend a lot of time with 5 broke losers that got nothing going on in the world, that are incompetent, that play video games 24/7 and smoke weed all the time. You're going to be the 6th, right? Make sure that you're putting yourself in rooms or in places where you've got a good network of guys. So that's number 1. Number 2, you can't bore women. That's right, I said it. I had a mentor at one point that said to me, Rich, you can do anything in the world to women that you want except bore them. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, trust me. You could have a woman that is excited with your presence, with the notion of what you're doing and who you are as a guy because she finds you interesting and not boring. He goes, you can even bang her best friend. And if you're hot enough and valuable enough, like she's not going to be happy about it, but she ain't going to leave you. I thought about that myself for years, actually. And he's absolutely right. You can do anything you want in the world to women except bore them. Women don't like to be bored. If you're in a long-term relationship and she's complaining to you that she's bored, or that you're boring, or that you don't do anything, or all you do is insert blah, 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 whatever it happens to be, you got to have some captivation about yourself. I talk about this in my book, The Unplugged Alpha, right? You have to be captivating to women. So what are you doing to be more captivating for yourself? It's not for women. This should be for you because you're pursuing hobbies and interests and things that are captivating for you and interesting to you. And it's kind of understood by this point that women just genuinely hate guys that sit around doing nothing productive. I've never understood spending hours and days and weeks and months at a time added up, if you know what I'm saying. Leveling up a character in a video game when you can be leveling up a character, your own self, in real life. You'll spend all that time to get the armor, the weaponry, whatever, to level up to the next level, because that's how they get you. That's how they hook you with these games. There's actually a book out there on the topic. It's called Hooked. Nir Eyal is the author. You can go check it out. But that's how they get you. But at the end of the day, guys, you can't bore women. You have to be interesting. You have to be captivating. And you have to do that in a perpetuity. So have interesting hobbies, more specifically for yourself, because if she finds herself in a situation where she's bored of you, she's probably going to bounce on you at some point. So don't be boring. And then the third and last thing is you can't hold women accountable. I said it. That's right. You're going to have a very, very hard time holding women accountable to high men's standards. It's kind of funny because a lot of women today will say, you know, I want a guy that's 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6 inches in the pants, 6-figure income, 600 horsepower car, 6 months out of a relationship. It's called the 6 sixes. It's a big joke. But they have this long list of demands, and then they find the guy that ticks off all those boxes, and then he has boundaries and he has accountability, which are very high in his priority list. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of these guys will try to hold women accountable. Guys of lower or lesser value even will try to hold a lot of women accountable, and it's just not a winning strategy. You might at some point in your life get a I'm sorry. You might get a, you know, Rich, you're right, I fucked up. Everything you said is true. You're spot on with everything. You might get that at some point in your life. I think I've had it maybe like a couple times in my entire life, and I'm not a young man. I'm a product of the 70s, but that's just the way that the world is. So a lot of guys will try to hold women accountable to certain standards or specifications that they hold themselves to, especially when guys have leveled up. Don't expect to be able to hold a woman that you're in a relationship with or that you're dating casually, or many areas of that spectrum, accountable to your higher standards. Now, this is one of the areas in my own life that I've failed miserably at in the past, is trying to hold her to my standards. And what I've learned is that you just can't. Women just aren't accountable. There's a hilarious movie with Jack Nicholson, and there's a scene in the film where a girl who's a receptionist who happens to be a big fan of his writing, he's an author, runs up to him at the elevator and she's like, oh my God, you're such an amazing writer. How do you write women so well? And he goes, I think of a man and I take away reason and accountability. And then she's like, she's got, you know, face drops obviously because it's hilarious, but he's absolutely right. Take away reason and accountability. More specifically, we're talking about this video about 3 things you can't do to women. You can't really hold them accountable. So you're going to have to lower your standards, especially when you've raised your standards. I hate to tell you this, guys, but you're going to raise your standards, you're going to do better in life, you're going to be making more money, you're going to be more competent, and that's just one of the downfalls of dealing with women, is the vast majority of them can't be held accountable, or they certainly won't be held accountable to the standards that you hold yourself to. So you're going to have to lower that standard just a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. If you've enjoyed this video and you've got some value out of it, I have a school on that platform. It's $49 a month, and I have a lot of information on topics like this and much more. How to make money, how to vet a woman for wife stock to have kids with, how to invest in markets and crypto and improve your health. We got everything. We have a professor for everything. It's literally $49 a month. That's pinned below. Go check it out. You can leave in at any time. There's no long-term commitment. I hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.